Hey friends, Elena Motonono here, and welcome to Raising Your Prices Challenge. This is our new video, and today I would like to introduce you to a system that I've used in coaching and in my work for quite some time. And this is a very easy way to explain the so-called sales funnels that you might hear a lot, but it is a way to show you how you can introduce new products without creating something completely out of nothing. Instead, use what you already have and build a number of products that are connected with it, which will help your client or maybe a person that is just your follower at this moment to get to know what your work is all about without a heavy investment. And then if they like it, continue walking with you on to products that are more and more expensive until you sell them your coaching or you one-to-one classes or maybe your group program, whatever it is that is going to be the most expensive thing in your line of products and services. So we're going to go straight to the page and I will show it to you as I draw it. Okay, let's see. Come on. Here we go. Okay, so I am using for this, to explain this, I'm using a nesting doll principle, and it's not actually a principle, but like the image of nesting dolls. This is where I come from. We grew up playing around with those nesting dolls, and if you are familiar with those, in Russian they're called matryoshka. These are little dolls that are made out of wood that kind of hide one inside of each other, and I always enjoyed looking at them growing up. I always enjoyed looking at their outfits, and I would line them up and look at how they were different and how they were the same. And it was this one brilliant activity that I used to do when we did not have that many toys to play around. And matryoshka dolls were these things that we also studied in art because there's a lot of history behind them, which I'm not taking you there, but I want to show you on this example of matryoshka dolls or nesting dolls, how you can build your entire product line, which will blow your mind. And this will be also an easy introduction to sales funnels. If you are still not sure what it is and you keep going to these marketing webinars and they tell you about creating a sales funnel and you're like, what the heck is sales funnel? You will know that after this little video, and you can create your own. So currently, probably as most of online language teachers, all you have is your one-to-one classes. And we talked about this in our first video of how you can, charge the same amount, but offer less of your time. And that was just one of those lessons that you learned where you don't necessarily have to offer all of your time to your clients. You can instead offer to them something different, something asynchronous. So here's our big doll here represents our biggest offer that we offer to our clients, which for most of us right now, it's our one-to-one coaching services. Okay. And if you look at your big doll, if you can imagine or picture it, you will see that it's got a lot of different features on it. And of course, I am not going to, like I said, we had art classes where we learned the styles of different dolls, nesting dolls. And of course, I am totally butchering it, but that's okay because my goal is to show you something completely different. Okay. Usually these dolls have aprons, which kind of suggests the work that women are expected to do so. This doll does not have an apron. She's cute. Okay, and then we are going to have, and that's when I told you, okay, that's the only thing you have. Well, how about you create something similar, but instead of giving away your time, you're going to reduce the amount of time that you have with your clients and instead give them the opportunity to do their work on their own. Okay. And this is what our second doll is going to represent. It still has the similar features, right? It has less of your time, but it's still packaged in a similar way. Okay. And then let's say your clients come to you and they want one-on-ones, too expensive. Instead, you offer to them the same price, but asynchronous learning. And they are really enjoying it, you know. But there are some people that will say, well, this is too much and I'm not ready for it. And this is where you offer to them your workbook, which pretty much has your methods still. You still are teaching people how to do the same kinds of things that you do in your other classes, one-to-one, but it's going to be a little different. As you can see, the smaller the nesting doll, the fewer details it has. And then finally, when you start teaching online and building your business, you cannot expect people to just get on your website and go straight here. Some of them definitely will be that way. They will be ready to invest. Like my core offer, for example, is other than coaching, is Smart Teachers Library. It's very close to it. But I don't expect that everybody that will join, because it's a big investment, will go into the community, because community involves coaching, involves not only monetarily investment, but also a lot of time investment. So as people are getting ready, making decision, the first step that they get is maybe like a tiny workshop that I have, right? Or they sign up for my list and they learn about the work that I do and whether it makes sense to them or it doesn't. Okay. And so now we can take our colors and color them. As I color, you can think about what your dolls are. Okay. They may be different. Now that you created something that's not one-to-one, maybe you just have two at this point, and that's okay. Maybe you're thinking of, okay, I would like to create my own workbook that will help people. And actually, the workbook is really great because it allows people, it prepares them to work with you, because in the workbook, we sometimes as teachers think that everybody out there knows what it's like to learn languages, but they may not. Okay. And so it's very helpful when they are introduced to a system that allows them, that teaches them, okay, in order to learn a language, this is how you go about learning a language. And as teachers, we forget that there was a time at some point in our lives when we were beginners as well in something, and we did not know how things went, how to use the dictionary and how to do this. And so in your workbook, you can teach people to use the dictionary, maybe, and that will be already helpful. That will be so helpful. I remember initially when I was working with students, I would be amazed that sometimes people were not familiar with how to use dictionaries. And then I asked myself, well, whose responsibility is it to teach them how to do it? But what ended up happening is when people signed up for coaching and they were ready to learn, right? They had to learn the basics of how to use the dictionary, how to create a learning routine, how to get the best results out of using your materials, how to read and not freak out when you don't understand words, and all those things that are really important that we take for granted as language teachers, but our students may not know them. And so how wonderful it is when people sign up, they get this information from us in a free, maybe free tracker. We give them maybe a couple of pages of our workbook, and then they buy the workbook, and then they go on, if they like it, they go on and invest. And it's also much better that way, because if people don't like it, they just sign up and they get your free, I don't know, tracker or free worksheet. And they just signed up and it didn't cost them anything. They signed up and they all of a sudden discover, that's not my thing. And then you don't have this really bad taste in your mouth because the person signs up and then they don't like what you have and then they unsubscribe. And that is so easy for you. You don't have to worry about, okay, what am I going to do now? People make a choice to unsubscribe and that's it. And no hard feelings. Likewise, if a person says, okay, well, I think I really like their free workbook, let me buy their paid workbook. And so they go to paid workbook and they spend, $20, $25. And then they print it out and they try it out and maybe they like it. And then they go on to sign up for your program or sign up even for your coaching. But maybe they don't. Maybe they don't like it. So that way, if they don't like it, they have not invested much. And so they don't feel like, oh, I've lost all this money. And you feel good about it because you say, and when a person signs up, like these days, when somebody just signs up to my newsletter and then they say, oh, I want coaching, I usually tell them, well, how about you go and read my books first? Because coaching is a huge investment of time and also mindset. It's a big change in the way you think. Okay, so I really recommend usually to people to go and kind of think about and see if our thoughts and our values, they resonate, because if they do, then we're going to have a good work together. If they don't, then probably that's not. So that kind of gives you also a cushion, and it protects you from trying to, please everybody and try to be everybody's cup of tea, because it's really is not possible. Okay, I'm going to do something different here because most of the nesting dolls, if you are not familiar, are white, and that's kind of bothering. So they need to make more diverse nesting dolls, and I made just one. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at this picture is that your products, they're all similar. And, that's why I use the image of nesting dolls to understand that they're all similar, that there are similarities. But of course, there's a difference between the small one and the big one. And the difference is in details. The difference between your free product and your coaching is in how much feedback you give. So if, for example, you were charging $100 for your 1 month of classes, but then you said, okay, this is just too much. And then you switched to charging $100 for maybe an asynchronous program. So this was, oops, I use a different one, different side. This was 100. Okay. Then this one is your workbook that is 25, for example. This is when people sign up. That's your tracker or some kind of product, maybe just a couple of pages from your workbook. So it's connected. And then you go to your program where people can practice their speaking or writing or whatever it is that you want to teach them. And then if people want you and they want your feedback and they want your undivided attention, then you can charge however much you want for this, depending on its availability. I would definitely start with at least double the price of your asynchronous program, because you want to show to people there is a difference between these two. Okay. And creating these products does not require, any extra effort on your part. You don't sit there and think, oh, what is this program or product that people might like? You just build on what you already have. What do people really hire you to help them with? If it's speaking or if it's writing or if it's whatever it is. And then you reverse engineer backwards from there. I hope this lesson was helpful. I know that creating products and a variety of services might be overwhelming, but if you create them in this way, thinking about nesting dolls, if you want to draw them or doodle, or maybe you have them already, or you don't have to even create that one, just write down the main features of your coaching program and then go down, taking some of the features off so that there are fewer and fewer details. But still, when people get the free product from you, whether it's a video maybe, or maybe it's a couple of pages of your workbook, they get an idea of what it's like to work with you, how your method is different, and how, most of all, it can help them. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to this channel or share it with online language teachers who might find this helpful. And if you want to dive deeper into the behind the scenes of creating your own business, I have free monthly coaching sessions, and you can sign up using the link in the description. In the sessions, I answer your questions, and we also do a lot of, deep mindset shifting work that is very important when you are running a business. Thank you so much again, and I hope you have a wonderful day.